The Last of Us HBO TV show is coming on the 14th January 2023. And as far as what I personally feel about this entire show, the casting and everything, I would say that the main two protagonists cast that HBO has chosen for Joel and Ellie is just not something that I personally think is the perfect one. Now, of course, Pedro Pascal is a great actor and whatnot, and I think he would do a great job in terms of acting-wise, playing as Joel. He would, of course, portray the character in a really good way. But when it comes to how the character looks like in terms of how we've seen with the video games adaptation, since this entire series is basically based on a video games adaptation, obviously fans are going to be expecting the characters to at least look similar. But when it comes to the character that they've chosen for Joel and Ellie, dude, on the other hand, she's completely just out of the picture here. When there were so many actors that fit the description better, because when it comes to Joel, well, my number one selection for Joel to be casting would always be Hugh Jackman, who's going to be on my number one list. And then the second one would easily be Geralt Butler, the guy from the 300 movie. If you guys have seen that one, he plays Leonidas, the Spartan leader, and he would be a perfect choice in order to play Joel as well. Have you guys seen some of the shots, some of the photos of this dude, where they basically look very much identical as Joel from the video games adaptations? And since HBO is pretty much making a live action show based on a video game, they would of course at least need to consider how fans basically fell in love with these characters. And now, of course, there's nothing wrong with Pedro doing the role and whatnot, because Pedro is a great actor. I've seen his movies in so many different shows and all that stuff, and he has also done a really good part in HBO's Game of Thrones. He nonetheless is, of course, a really good actor. But that's not the biggest issue that I'm having here. See, the only biggest issue that I personally think that HBO should have casted better characters for the casting of Joel and Ellie, because they were different actors who are also really good at acting. At the same time, they also look like Joel from the video games. But at this point, I just feel like HBO just went on and recasted everyone that was in Game of Thrones and every actor that they were familiar with and have already worked on, because most of the actors that you see in the HBO's TV show of The Last of Us are pretty much recasted from the Game of Thrones shows. So HBO is very familiar with these actors, and guess what? They didn't really have to do a lot of work in terms of just going ahead and searching these actors to play these roles. And there has been so many fan casting that wanted Hugh Jackman in, that wanted Geralt Butler in. There are so many different actors. They could have also chosen rollercoaster, who basically played the King of Lancasters in Game of Thrones. They could have pretty much just chosen him to play as Joel as well, because this dude, he also looks very similar to Joel. They had so many different options, but I don't know, for whatever reason, they just decided to go with Pedro Pascal in order to play Joel. And now let's move on to Ellie, which, to be honest, I have to personally say that I am so frustrated in terms of how they have casted Ellie in the HBO's TV show. Now, of course, all the Last of Us fans are going to get super mad at me for saying this, and you guys need to understand that people have different likings, and this is just me sharing my own subjective opinions. And of course, yes, I am biased because I am a huge fan of the Last of Us game. I've been covering the game. I've been covering Last of Us 1 and Part 2. I've been doing so many videos on these games, and trust me when I say this, I am not happy with the casting of what they have done with Ellie in terms of HBO's TV show. Now, one of the biggest things that not just me, the entire community kind of does notice this, is that Ellie from the HBO TV show is actually Asian, comparing the Ellie from the video games adaptation. Like, it's completely different race that they've used here. Now, of course, there are different actors that they could have used, and this does not mean that Bella Ramsey is bad actress. Now, of course, she is really good at what she does. She's really good at acting and all that stuff. Of course, the discussion is not based on whether or not if she has better acting skills or not. The discussion here is pretty much very subjective to how the characters are not matching the descriptions of what we've seen from the video games adaptations. And now, since HBO is doing a video games adaptations of The Last of Us game, this means that they should probably stick to how the characters look like from the video game, because people are going to be expecting that's what the game was famous for, the characters, the storyline, and that's exactly what they're missing out. And I've got to be honest though, I absolutely fell in love with all the different casts that they've done with the HBO show. Everyone else other than the main character look absolutely perfect, and that's something I cannot just understand, because HBO's done a really amazing job in terms of casting Tess. They've done good job in terms of casting Tommy. I think Tommy could have been better, but still, you know, they've done a good job in terms of what they've chosen for Tommy. I guess he's still a really good actor and kind of somewhat matches the description of Tommy from the video games. But when it comes to Sarah, I'm kind of like having a mixed opinion on this one, because the actress is basically black in the TV show, but in the video game, Sarah is completely different race, and they've basically changed up the entire race here. So that is something that I'm kind of skeptical, but I hope that they could just get things done here. But one of the biggest issues that I personally think that HBO could have done right is with the most important characters of the entire TV show, who is Joel and Ellie, and I think they have kind of just screwed up the entire thing. Now, instead of choosing Bella Ramsey, they could have easily chosen Caitlin Dever to play as Ellie, because just take a look at some of the pictures here, man. She looks exactly the same, and Caitlin is an astonishing actor. She's won so many awards. She's really good at nailing the coffin in terms of her acting skills, and they could have easily chosen her. Now, let's say, for example, okay, Caitlin is old enough because she's not as young as what they wanted to be for casting in the show. Then they could have easily gone for Sophia Lillis, who plays one of the main roles in the movie IT, if you guys have seen this girl. That she's also a really good actor. She can also get the job done, and she also looks very similar to the Ellie from the video games adaptation. Now, all they had to do is pretty much just go ahead and look for better options, but what they did was pretty much just recast anyone they got from the HBO's TV show that they've already worked on with Game of Thrones, and they pretty much just got them in with the Last of Us show. That's personally what I think. I honestly don't know if that is true or not, but it kind of does seem like it, because I think 50% of the Last of Us community are either happy, and the other 50 are really mad about casting of Ellie, especially. Even Joel, maybe some people have forgiven, but when it comes to Ellie, dude, I just can't agree with what they've done. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys personally feel? Do you feel the same? Do you think that Bella Ramsey would be perfect to play Ellie? Now, if you guys are going to go down in the comments and say, well, Bella Ramsey is going to do a really good job in terms of acting and whatnot, yes, we are not talking about acting here, okay? There are better actors. Every actor is talented. Every actor can do the job if they're given the right skills and if they're given the right potential. They could obviously do it. So at the end of the day, it also comes down to resembling characters from the video game, since it's an adaptation. It's not a completely new show. They're adapting the show from a video game. So take, for example, they wouldn't choose Henry Cavill in order to play as the Witcher from the Witcher's Netflix show, and they would just choose someone who doesn't look like a Witcher at all. Like, would that even fit the description of the character? Fans would obviously be mad. The show wouldn't really work out. And since this whole casting topic of The Last of Us is very much controversial, and there are a mixed amount of fans for this entire TV show and game, I think that's one of the reasons why YouTubers are not really touching onto this topic, because I don't really see people making videos on the casting, on what they personally think. So I decided I'd just go ahead, share my opinions. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think about the casting? Do you think they're perfect? Do you think they're not? I would love to know your opinions. Of course, keep the comment section respectful if you can. I know some people are just going to be toxic anyway, so just go ahead, carry on with whatever you like, I guess. And yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to go ahead, drop a big fat like on this video. And also, if you guys are excited for the HBO's TV show of The Last of Us, then go ahead, find that as a reason to drop a like and support these videos. And of course, if you guys are looking for a YouTube channel that basically covers every single information that you guys need about all the upcoming open world games, then make sure to go ahead, subscribe to my channel down below and click the notification bell, and make sure that you guys are setting your notification settings to all, because if you don't do that, the broadcast YouTube platform, they just don't send you guys the notifications of my daily videos, so make sure you guys do it. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.